Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all variations thereof, and welcome, my friends. Welcome, one and all, to Shadows of Sorcery. Indeed, my intrepid party is having fun with the new dice rolling system. Welcome, everybody, to Shadows of Sorcery, session 52. We're getting up there in years. Getting up there in years. Joining me this evening, we have a full party. Leading the charge with no charisma, but a very good acting career. It's Elfie Oakwood.
Hey, bitch!
Only half of that came through, and it was mostly bitch. Sidling on up in second place and sneaking away. It's Lying in Bedmon.
I got full government name.
Ooh.
Wow. Standing at the back of a crowd and trying their best not to stand out while my alarm plays. It's Lydia.
Hello.
Where's my phone? Hold on.
Professional.
About to get DMCA'd by Ava.
Oh, Christ.
Yes. And last but not least, complaining about everything that I didn't do right about this symbiote, it's Zerion.
I
I
like
was
my
about to be introduced
bonuses
again,
being
then.
taken into account. Is that such a crime?
I kid. Oh, goodness me. Everybody welcome, my friends. It's time to combat the legal system.
I cast Law and Order at
Wants
7th
to
level.
recap.
I feel
Lying,
like I
this is
should.
your saying.
There you go, Elfie.
I
You're
feel
good.
like I should, because it's mostly my fault.
It is mostly your fault. Please, carry on.
So, well, we were trying to exit this beautiful place, which I can remember the name of.
Velostov.
Velostov. Prodigious Maximus got separated from the group and tried to find them again, and in doing so accidentally attacked the leader of this place. Oops. Who also happens to be Lying or Darren's family? Put a question mark in there. Who they do not talk to anymore. But Prod got arrested. Again, oops. And is now having to figure out some legal way of getting out of being executed. Woo!
Woo!
Yay.
Womp womp.
Or jailed for life.
Or jail for life.
Yes, it's true, everybody. It's true. Our intrepid and rather, shall we say, dim-witted Prodigious Maximus spent the day roaming the city of Velostov before eventually happening upon an elderly lady who led him home, fed him biscuits, and sent him off to a brothel, wherein he met two lovely dwarvish, shall we say, blue-collar workers who led him around town until eventually he happened upon the location known as the Council Chambers of Velostov, wherein we saw dwarvish politics at play, which combine the political world of paperwork with the more dwarvish sensibilities of arena combat. Quite an interesting situation. During this time period, eventually Prod got arrested for attempting to, in the eyes of the law, which are very, very squinty, attempting to assault the vice steward of the city of Velostov, Ader Morum, and eventually was thrown in jail for the night. The rest of the party came to Prod's rescue after they all remembered that they had something called a communication ring, and decided to place bail for Prod. But Prod is now unable to leave the city without getting electrocuted severely. So, yes, It's a very interesting time indeed. Additionally, while you were all in the city, you assisted a figure of some alchemical repute with leaving the city, and were chased down by some odd figures in blue illusory robes that, as Darren, Prod, and Ingvar found out, are actually some form of insectoid carapaced creatures with golden glowing eyes. And that is where we left off last week, in the Library of Velostov, researching Dwarvish lore. What are you doing right now, Ingvar?
I was in the I forget. I was somewhere. I got tossed out of the Wandering Library.
Yes, you got tossed out of the Wandering Library, and someone bumped into you with a pile of books.
Yes, I'm probably just buried under a pile of books at the minute.
Yes, a dwarvish scribe, sort of, who was carrying this pile, sort of looks down at you over tiny, tiny half-moon glasses and their long grey beard, and they're very short for a dwarf, and they look down at you and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh no!" And they immediately start trying to pull the massive pile of books, which you notice is, when stacked, would have been at least 3 times the height of this dwarvish scribe. That they just accidentally dropped on you, and you do feel a little bit sore, because some of these books, as it turns out, are massive granite tablets.
Jesus.
That have fortunately not broken, but they are heavy, and one of them is just pressed across your stomach as you're just lying there. And this dwarvish fellow, with a strength that is strangely inappropriate for this very short figure, lifts this massive granite slab off of you, and holds it with one hand and holds out his other and says, "I'm terribly sorry. Can I help you up?"
He attempts to sit up, and just goes, "No, I'm okay. Just a little winded. It's fine."
I'm so sorry. I probably shouldn't be carrying such a large amount of tomes. It's very difficult to see around them. I'm sorry. I must get these to the steward. Would you mind helping me? And he kind of holds out his arms towards you in a gesture of, "Put these books in my arms so that I can run," sort of thing.
Yeah, he kind of just holds himself on the up, just picks them up as best he can and just places them in his hands in a pile.
Okay, so you start stacking the books. The dwarvish fellow sort of looks around the stack at you as you're stacking and goes, "I'm so sorry. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Garant Shirva Totan Platare Kinteven."
Say that again?
Garantaltito Tovekteven.
That seems to be a different name that you just said.
It's a very difficult name to remember, okay?
Yes.
He's an old dwarf. He has a very long name.
If only it was written in some sort of language instead of the apparent fucking gibberish that's slightly racially coded to Irish people.
I'll write it down for you.
Christ. Ingvar just goes, Nice to meet you. My name's Ingvar.
There you go. That is his full name, by the way. Well, not his full name. That is his first name.
Oh, he's Welsh. I see.
Nearly enough vowels for Welsh.
Yes.
Not enough F's.
He sort of turns around and says, "Well, it's lovely to meet you, Ingvar. And now, if you don't mind, I must dash." And he sort of starts trotting off up towards this sort of large spiral staircase that leads, this large stone spiral staircase that leads up to the upper levels, where there's like balconies ringing around the whole edge of the interior of the upper section of the library.
You know, he just nice to meet you and gives him a wave.
He'd wave back, but his arms are quite full at the moment.
Yeah. Fair.
So, what is everyone else doing at the moment?
I've gone to a library and I'm attempting to review what I know at least about dwarven law.
Mm-hmm. So
maybe I can get Prod tried as a juvenile.
Prod is staying in the tavern because he's been told that if he leaves, he could get alarm belled again. And he's sulking.
As you're sulking, Prod, would you say that you're sitting by a window?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's looking out real forlornly.
Yeah,
like, you know how like a cat looks out the window like, I've been wronged by the world?
As
Occasionally
you're
like
sulking,
paws on the glass.
Roll me a perception check.
Oh, he's not a perceiver.
Roll it anyway.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I need to figure out how to do that.
Press the brown button on the perception section.
Give me a minute. That's a 20, baby!
That is a 20. You rolled a natural 20. I'm impressed. Okay. As you're staring out onto the crowded streets of Velostov, as you're watching sort of the passers-by go about their days, merchants shouting about their wares, you watch as a squabble of elderly dwarves rushes past in a hurry. A squabble being the name of a group of elderly dwarves. Your eye is drawn to the alleyway across the street, where you spy a figure in dark blue robes slip into the shadows. Similar in build and height to the strange creatures that were tracking you earlier on in the day, that were tracking the disguised figure of the alchemist that you were being a diversion for.
Is librarian here, or are you also doing research?
I was in the library doing research at some point. I don't know what the order of operations was, but I'm doing some stuff.
It's around the same time as you were still in the library. You've essentially just stepped out of the wandering library's corridors at the moment, as fleeing the strange creature that lurks within those corridors.
Yeah, and then I looked up like taboo stuff after.
Yes, you looked up what kind of magics are considered taboo in this world, which we didn't manage to discuss on stream last time, but I will quickly recap for everybody. The kind of magics that are considered taboo are blood magic, magic that messes with people's minds, and I'm relatively sure I said another one, but I can't remember what it was. Do you have those notes, Arian? Did you note that down?
No, I looked for them in the chats, but I think it was just verbal.
Okay, it was just verbal. That's fine. So it is blood magic, which requires human sacrifice. Psychic magic, specifically the kind that alters memories or causes permanent damage to someone's mind. And one more, of which I will probably remember in about 10 minutes. So I'll tell you guys then. But yeah, you guys are still within the library's walls. So then they're not anywhere near you right now, Prod. But you can talk to them. If you can remember to.
Prod is sort of gabbling into the ring.
Okay.
Sort of a general whine of, oh, this is so unfair. I just tried to get to
yeah, you can all hear this, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he goes, oh, who's that fella? You know the fella that, nearly attacked us? He's just in the alleyway outside. I'm gonna lock the door. And Prod goes and locks the door, and he makes sure his armor's
Okay, so you're locking
ready.
the door to a tavern. To an inn.
No, to his room in the tavern.
Oh, to his... Oh, so you're not... Okay, yes, fair enough.
And has his sword by his side, and doesn't close the curtain, but like keeps an eye out to see if this person returns or is doing anything in particular. And if they enter the tavern, getting ready to leave.
Okay. So, you watch the alleyway for a good 5-10 minutes. Eventually, you see this blue-robed figure with golden eyes step furtively out of the alleyway again. Look left, look right, look up at one of the rooftops, look down at the cobblestones, furtively checking every angle possible before darting. You point at them.
I just pointed them, so if they see me, they'll see me looking at them.
Okay.
Pointing at them.
Okay. Very well.
I see you.
Let's see if they see you. They look up. They look up at the window. They look up at you directly. You see those golden eyes, like, from beneath this sort of blue-robed cowl. Their skin sort of greyish, black-tinged. Looks a bit like ink has started seeping out of the edge of their eyes. They look at you. I would like you to roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, I'm so unwise. I'm
Yes,
deeply
you are.
unwise.
You pointed at them. You stared at. You made yourself obvious.
But that's a 21.
But that. Oh my god, that is a 21. Okay. You feel a shiver flinch down your spine as the fear tries to root itself in your body. And then you blink. And when you open your eyes, the figure has vanished.
Uh-oh.
Whether they darted down the street or back into the alleyway, you don't know.
Huh. What is that? Prod is silent.
Prod is silent.
Sorry,
Sounds
I'm
strange.
Prod's just looking. Prod was a little bit unnerved. Prod just went, I think someone just tried to do magic on me. And it's usually me who's doing magic on other people, if you get my meaning. And then he wiggles his eyebrows, but no one can see that, so he says, oh, by the way, I just wiggled my eyebrows.
Okay. Darren and Librarian, what are you two doing at the moment?
We're librarying.
I'm done with my library.
Can I roll an investigation check to see if there's like any obvious means of remedying this situation
Sure.
under dwarven lore?
Yeah, sure.
Do I get advantage on it because it's dwarven? Not racially profiling at all.
I will say. I will say that you will get advantage if you call on dwarven contacts in the city. However,
That
because
means
it is
telling people I'm
dwarvish
here.
law,
Yeah.
it is an incredibly complex subject, broaching both paperwork and, like, combat. Dwarvish trials are considered something to behold, especially considering how this whole sort of political and legal system is based in a form of trial by combat as well as a form of actual paperwork and legality. So it's a very complex system, even for a dwarf. So if you want to call on some contacts, then yes, I'd give you advantage. But otherwise, no, it'd be a straight roll.
Well, good thing I can't physically roll below 19. Yep. 25.
25. Oh,
It's almost like I built my character for something.
I know! Rude!
Wait until I have to persuade someone.
Ah! Okay. So, you spend most of the afternoon looking through tome upon tome upon tome. Eventually, you spy a few passages relating to situations where a legal trial has been ruled by the judge to only be resolvable through trial by combat. These instances are few and far between. There are also instances where I suppose you could say plaintiff and defendant are can choose to take trial by combat as their arranged sort of situation to resolve the dispute. Dwarvish combat trials are usually done. They're usually essentially an arena fight, with the participants being how do I describe this? No magical weaponry is allowed, basically. The participants are required to have no magical weapons. They're required to wear armor of Dwarvish make, and they're required to wield weapons of Dwarvish make, to ensure that there is no cheating, essentially. All the weapons are standardized, all the armor is designed to fit. But it must all be done with mundane weaponry, and there are no magical items allowed during these trials, essentially.
Right. Well, it's the best shot we got right now, at least.
You can request a trial by combat. When a trial by combat is requested, you must appoint a second to essentially. It's not really a situation of like if you go down, they have to step in. It's a situation of if you go down, they have to.
If you are incapable of fighting for yourself, then they step in and do it for you, essentially.
Yes, exactly. But it's only like it's rare that, especially in Dwarvish society, it's rare that a second ever steps in. But it was done after in a specific situation where the person who was suing happened to be 750 years old and in a wheelchair. And despite the fact that it was a battle wheelchair, they were 750 years old and very much incapable of combat at that point. So, yes. Which 750 is a ridiculously old age for a dwarf. Most dwarves in this universe living to around about 500 at most, realistically speaking. So yeah, that's the information that you managed to gather, realistically speaking. It's a pretty definitive way to resolve a trial, but it has to be requested specifically.
Does it have to be requested by the defendant or by their legal representation?
It has to be requested by... Yeah, it has to be requested by the defendant, or it can be essentially placed as the only result by a judge.
Right.
But for a trial by combat to function, both parties have to agree to it, unless the judge is the one who imposes it.
Oh. Prod, how likely do you think it is that you could take a dwarf in unarmed combat?
Honey, don't you worry. I go down swinging.
Well, I don't have any better ideas. I'm gonna need you to request a trial by combat.
Cool. Who do I chat? Who do I chat up?
The judge.
Sick. I feel like I have to do that with my legal representation, because I feel like if I walk into somewhere without someone who's good at talking, I might get my ass kicked again. But apparently being violent when I ask a very normal question.
Okay. So, you all have 2 weeks until Prod's trial. Now, you can request to get it moved up, though that's an entirely separate system. Or you can spend these next 2 weeks roaming about Velostov, investigating, trying to figure out what's going on, maybe. Maybe you can go shopping. It's really up to you. We can, if you guys want, skip these 2 weeks entirely, and I'll roll some random dice to see what has happened during those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd be happy to move forward. I think Prod's going to be spending most of the time feeling sorry for himself inside the tavern, but has sort of put himself under house arrest because he knows that if he goes out, he's just going to cause more trouble. And he really doesn't want to make more trouble than he already has.
Okay.
Bless
What about
you.
everybody else?
Thank you. I think the only thing Ingvar would want to do is just restock on arrows, because he's low on normal kind of arrows.
Low on normal arrows for a change. My goodness.
Somebody's been less than thrifty. Someone's been splurging on their hostile actions.
Let's not splurge on the hostiles, please.
All right. What about you, Darren, and you, librarian?
I'm presuming I'm going to have to appear in court in some capacity, so I'm just making sure that I have my facade finally
Okay.
tuned, just in case.
Here's something that you will want to know.
Oh no.
Dwarvish lawyers have certification. Meaning,
Never mind. I mean, I guess I could persuade somebody that I'm that I'm an accredited lawyer.
you could. Okay, so here's what I'll say. You could attempt to persuade. If you do not want to appear as a dwarf, you can attempt to persuade someone that you are knowledgeable enough in the legal system of Belostov to appear as Prodigious Maximus's lawyer.
That I could probably manage. And it wouldn't be deception because I've run the investigation.
However, you will have to persuade some very specific people. Mainly the judge and the person who certifies whether or not someone is properly versed in Dwarvish law. So it'd be 2 persuasion checks, basically.
I'm willing to make 2 persuasion checks.
Okay. We'll go through that in a bit. Librarian, what do you want to skip the 2 weeks, or would you like to do something during these 2 weeks?
I would like to spend the first week attempting to fully repair the anti-magic orb,
Okay. We'll get
and
to
I would
that
like
in a
to
minute.
spend the second week using the anti-magic orb and meditating at the end.
Okay. Okay. So roll for repairing the anti-magic orb. I will give you 2 skill checks because you have a week. So I'll give you the opportunity to do this twice. Where you will need to roll Arcana with your tinkering tools.
Okay, let me see what that is then. So it would just be like a normal roll with my tinkering tools, which is a +8, so d20 +8.
So yeah, it would be Arcana plus your tinkering tools, and that would give you your whether you succeed or fail. Realistically speaking, you're aiming for Did you not roll Arcana? Just to know.
I rolled d20 to just add on the +8 because Tinker's Tools is intelligence, which is also the thing for Arcana. But my proficiency for tinkering tools is a little bit different.
Okay. So
that is 2 19s.
2 19s. So that. Wait. So you're adding,
I'm just adding +8 to a normal d20 roll.
and the +8 is coming from where exactly? Sorry.
My Tinker's Tool proficiency.
So where's your Arcana proficiency going?
Oh, if I have to add that as well, then it's plus 15 to the 11.
Yeah. That's what I meant. It's like
That's 26 then for both.
26 for both. Okay. It does take you most of the week, but with 2 26s, you eventually manage to figure out what is wrong with the anti-magic orb. There is a small section of the orb that is a fully mechanical piece. Parts of it have been scraping against the interior sections of the orb, which eventually is causing cracks across the surface. By remedying that mechanical section, you make it so that the orb will no longer fracture when it is used. Thusly, you manage to repair it. Now, when the anti-magic orb is deployed, you will no longer have to roll for it. It will just simply work.
Yay!
Sweet.
Okay, so now for the second week, you said you wanted to use the anti-magic orb.
The librarian for a long time has kind of realized that something's affecting his head in some way with his memories.
Yeah.
And so what he's going to try and do is meditate while in the range of the active anti-magic orb to see if he can figure out some stuff. But that can be later if you want, because it's probably going to be a bit longer.
No, we can go through that now. Okay, so what you're going to essentially meditate in the range of an anti-magic orb. You're going to attempt to access memories that you think are being blocked by a magical source.
Yeah.
Essentially. Okay. Yeah. We can do that. We're gonna start. With pulling you into a different space.
Ugh.
Do we get to be floaty again?
So, we're going to start with the library. So, as you descend into this trance, you essentially, you take the day, you sit on your bed in the inn, you put the anti-magic orb in your lap, you twist it, turn it on, you feel all of the magical items on your person go dormant immediately. All of the magical items in a 10-foot vicinity just shut down. As you do this, and as you're sort of looking around, you concentrate on those threads, those pieces of your existence that you know were there before, but that have escaped you for maybe decades at this point. And when you open your eyes, first thing you think of, the first thing you remember, truly remember, is the library. The strange, infinitely winding corridors, the shifting passageways, the bookcases that aren't always there, but you know that they're there because you were there the moments before. You look around and you find yourself in the entrance hall. A place that defies imagination. It's grand and immense, and yet at the same time it's small and cozy. It feels like you're stepping through dimensions. You're watching memories superimposed over the reality that you know. The first thing you remember is an old man standing next to you, his gnarled hands clasping a massive golden staff, his low, wide-brimmed hat pulled down, his blue and gold robes hanging loosely off of a almost skeletal, ancient frame. And he turns to you, and he says, "Arcus, you know, this This will be my crowning achievement. I must say, I'm glad that you decided to assist me with all this. And he gestures about the space, which has resolved itself into the library entrance hall that you now see on your screen. It is jarring to see Edric Vox, who stands in a pride of place at the back of the chamber, a statue majestic in its illusory grandeur, making this man look youthful and incredibly majestic. The contrast between that and the ancient, almost skeletal figure that stands next to you is... it is jarring. As you look around, you also spot a large cylindrical containment tube being wheeled into the room. Its front panel is made of crystal, see-through. And inside this, what seems to be some form of stasis chamber, perhaps, you see a young girl with fiery red hair, wearing a red dress, sleeping soundly, and you see across her neck, from two small puncture marks, these black veins that crawl up across her face, down under her clothing, that pulse ever so slightly with a faint purplish light. And you recognize her instantly as your daughter, kept in stasis, surviving against all odds by Edric Vox's design. Edric, ancient now, though when you met him he was but a youngster, a good 300 years ago. You came, you remember now, to the city of Praxis through a Feywild gateway that you had conjured in dire circumstances. You recall blood and fire, the hunt that had consumed your home, the feeling of iron wielded by Fey that had forced you to flee, to leave Aldrin dying in the glade behind you. You remember. You remember. Suddenly, the world around you sweeps into this black void. It feels like you're being pulled into a black hole. Everything is suddenly crushing against your mind. 100 years of memory pouring into your skull. You feel every moment, every passage of time, every second, every minute, every hour, everything pouring in. You scream as the pain radiates out, but there are no barriers anymore. Every magical blockade that your daughter set up to protect you falls away. You feel every moment, and every moment lives in you simultaneously. You see the construction of the great library. You see the dimensional anchors, the engines, the power sources. Every second, every minute of that construction sears into your mind. You feel the ghostly whispers as you and Edric pulled the library into limbo between the planes. You hear the moments between every breath, the silences. You watch as Edric strides through the library, as his body becomes crippled and old, his teeth yellow, his eyes shadowed. You watch the friend you once knew become a shadow of his former self as he strives to grasp the immensity of the universe, as he tries to tamper with powers far beyond his knowledge. You watch, as though from a distance, as you help without knowing. Then suddenly you're in one massive chamber, oval in shape, a bowl with towering marble walls. In the center, chained, kneeling, sits a titan of immense proportions. Silver wings, iron shackles, platinum engravings, 6 giant eyes stare back at you. Edric tells you, "This will help her. We must make sure it's done soon, or there's no telling how much longer we can keep her alive." The Titan sits in the center of the chamber, unmoving, catwalks strung around the edges, and a single one stretching across the middle of the room, right past the center of the Titan's sternum, where a hollow has been carved out. A chair, platinum and silver, gold, crystalline gems, all across the outside. The chair is small, made for a child. Silver chains stretch from the back of the chair into the heart of this Titan, connecting to the ribs. Several scribes, assistants, wheel in the massive stasis chamber towards the center of the platform. You look on. You trust Edric. You've known him for years. Why would he betray you? You don't know. You know he did. But you have no ken as to what his true intentions were. The stasis chamber is unsealed. The girl carried out unconscious. The veins of purple have kept spreading across her neck since you last saw her. She is placed in the chair. Her arms and head manacled. Edric stands before her. Suddenly he snaps his fingers. The assistants, golems that they are, immediately grasp your arms, pull you to the floor. Edric holds his staff out, slams it on the ground. A shield envelops him. You resist. Something's wrong, you can tell. Edric presses the staff against your daughter's chest. You watch as a small trickle of blood flows out. You wrench back. You blast the golems off the platform. Slam your fist into the shield once, twice, 3 times. You watch as cracks start to appear. Edric speeds up. You hear a hum. The Titan wings start arcing. Lightning pours from the walls. One last slam. The shield breaks. Edric's magic is not as it used to be. You tackle him to the floor. No! He cries. His staff flies over the edge. Suddenly, there's a high-pitched scream. Energy pouring forth from the Titan across your daughter, down into the library itself. Edric is no longer moving. His breath comes in short, rattling gasps. You watch, unable to understand, as the Titan's energy pours forth through your daughter, powering the library itself. Suddenly, there's a blast of electrical energy surging through the catwalk. You feel your muscles seize and cramp. Suddenly, the world stills. Time stops. Flows backwards. You watch as everything falls back into place. It suddenly flows forwards again. You watch as time cycles and repeats around this space. A spectre emerges. You feel your daughter's hand press against your forehead as you stare up. She is old now, hundreds of years older. You see the passage of time in her eyes. You feel it in your bones. You have sat in this chamber for millennia, and yet no time has passed at all. You know this place. You have no power to break the chains that hold your daughter here. And your daughter knows this. But she does not want to see you suffer. So she removes everything. She makes you the caretaker. That is all you know now. You are the caretaker. You are the librarian. And you take care of the library. And the location of that chamber slips from your mind like grains of sand through your fingers. Until one day, something breaks in, and the librarian is cast out to protect him from what may yet lurk within these corridors. You wake. The anti-magic orb trembles in your hand. The pain is unbearable.
I want to get out a notepad or a piece of paper that is not my index while the anti-magic orb is still on.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to note down everything important.
Okay. So, you note down everything important. You turn off the anti-magic orb. After you do so, you still feel the memories. They still sit there, and there is a fog at the edge of your mind that threatens to consume them once again. But it is slow. Away from the library, away from the power that sustains it. It will take time to consume your memories once again. And that's where we're gonna take a break, everybody. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. I've been waiting to tell that story for a good long while.
That was so juicy. I was muted, but I was clapping at the end.
Yeah, that was good.
That was fucking juicy. I love that.
All right, 5-minute break, everybody. We'll be right back.
What a performance. My goodness.
And we're back, everybody. We're back. Yeah. That was a time. By the way, Darren and Prod and Ingvar, you all hear the librarian screaming at the top of his voice. At that point. By the way, that scream was real.
Yeah, I'm going to the room.
Yep, I'm following behind. Possibly with Kazma.
If I see that the anti-magic orb is on, I turn it off.
So the first,
It is turned off.
Okay.
the first thing you I would say is, librarian, did you lock the door?
Okay, so I'm gonna say yes. Also want to describe what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, sure. So first things first. The door is locked.
Kicks it down.
Okay. Prod kicks the door. It's a cheap tavern door. It's not hard to kick down with Prod's strength. Librarian, what is everyone seeing?
There is paper and ink strewn all over this fucking room as the librarian tries to jot down 800 years worth of important memories.
The orb is off. You all, you step into this room and it's like you've stepped into a tornado. There is paper, there is ink. The librarian has somehow produced more paper in the past hour than he's actually carried on his person for the past 2 months. You're not sure where the paper is coming
fucking
from.
library membership forms. You just keep pulling them out.
Oh, that's just impressive.
So yeah.
I think they're okay. Or at least as okay as they usually are.
I'm not okay. I'm writing with one hand and talking to you.
I see. Do you want to talk about it?
We don't have enough time for that.
Rod goes to the window and checks that there's no one outside.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
Oh, I thought that was a bit of role-playing. I didn't...
No. If you're going to the window to check if someone's around outside, I need you to roll me a perception check.
Oh, I'm rolling it. We'll give you a second. Come on.
11.
11.
Okay. You peek out the window. For a moment, you think you see the edge of blue cloth, but no, it's nothing.
Oi.
I think you might be a little paranoid.
I need to get all of this down. Do any of you have any more paper? Any more ink?
I've got bread.
No, it'll work.
You give the librarian a loaf of bread, you just see them start scribbling on the back of it.
You also notice like a couple of blank pages that he seems to be scribbling fucking nothing on. Then he kind of like regains his senses a wee bit. You can see his eyes dull a little bit instead of being like fucking spiked like he's had 7 espressos. I remembered a lot really quickly.
Okay.
Do you need...
Important bits. Summary. Spark notes. I have a daughter.
Oh.
She might still be alive.
Mazel tov.
I'm over 800 years old.
Good.
Okay.
Did you tell anyone else when we went looking?
My husband is dead.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
And there is something terrible in the library.
I kind of figured that the last time I was there, and I could hear stomping over in a few thingamabobs over aisles. That's the word you're looking for, self.
Not to be rude, but your voice feels different. You sound different.
A lot happened to make me not go insane during 800 years of confinement. I have basically been in a stupor, a catatonic stupor of a caricature for the last 800 years. And one of those things, apparently, was making me sound fucking English.
Oh, so that's why you were the way you were.
Yeah, basically.
As a quick note, you've been in the library for about 500 years-ish.
Also, what's English?
Highborn.
Oh, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, everyone said make the hologram good for the people, and then gave it that accent. Anyway. We need to focus on what we're actually doing here right now. We can't deal with all of that. Sorry.
Do you want some more paper? Prod produces several scripts that he carries upon himself because he's a Callist person, and gives you the scripts.
I feel like I'm already missing something. It's something important as well. Just start shuffling through the pages. Something's gone.
Slipped away.
Something that they really didn't want me to find is gone, or something that's at the very edges is gone, and I can't remember it. Okay, I think I have enough here. The first couple ones should give me everything I need.
You can, as you try and reach for it, you can still remember the throne and your daughter sitting upon it, but everything else around it is slowly receding.
I think I helped capture an angel.
What?
Huh?
Can you explain?
there was some kind of celestial being. It had a silvery aura and wings, and fucking Edric did something.
Who's Edric?
Long story. Very old, very rich, very stupid, very powerful archmage. Back in the day where those were still really a thing.
And your best friend for over 300 years.
I can tell them that, he isn't anymore.
Was Edric your husband?
No, that was Aldrin.
Aldrin. Right. Who's Aldrin?
His husband.
My husband.
Then listen, Prod.
We're gonna move through one grief at a time, I think, is the easiest way to do this. There was an outbreak years ago in the Feywild. Something happened. I need to go through my notes again. It's already going. But the important bits is after we leave this city. I need to figure some stuff out.
I best get working on that then.
I don't understand, but I'll help you in whatever you need.
I need to find a way to save my daughter.
Do you remember her name?
Her name's Dulia.
Ah.
It's a lovely name.
Thank you.
Did you pick it?
Aldrin picked it.
They have good taste.
He did. But anyway, if you've got any more paper, I'd appreciate it, but I don't have a lot more to note down. What the fuck was I doing with this one? It reaches out, there was a completely blank page. I'm gonna try and put these in some sort of order.
Okay.
Do you need anybody to help pick up the scattered paper?
You know what? That would be helpful.
So
he just kind of walks around.
There's a lot of organizing to do here. I would like you to roll me an intelligence check, Zarian, with advantage if people are helping. To see how much of this you can keep ordered and how much of this you can keep to make sense of within your own mind as well as on paper.
Okay, drag.
Obviously, we're helping.
17.
So 20.
Oh no, sorry, that's a 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget it doesn't show you both rolls, just the highest.
No, that was... Wait, did it? Oh, yes.
Yeah, it just automatically resolved it.
Oh, nice. That's actually really neat. Okay. So... Okay. You managed to collate a decent amount of your memories. There are gaps, and there are parts that seem a little out of place. But for the most part, you managed to compose a timeline from the death of Aldrin and the last memory you have of that, or the first memory you have of that time period. And like anything before that is the first thing to get swept away in the fog, right? But the first memory that you really have is the horns of the Twilight Court hunt, and Aldrin lying dead in a clearing with 3 spears in his back, as you run forward through the forest with Dulia hanging from your neck, as you see later something is embedded in her neck, but that memory goes as well as to what it is. You remember centuries of working with Edric, working your way up through Praxis Society, feuds between mages, though some of those details are lost as well. You remember the start of the construction of the library. You do not remember how it finished. And you remember at least 100 years of just sitting in front of Dulia's throne before she pulled your memories from you.
Was I right in presuming that she's kind of in like a time lock situation right now, or is that just a drag effect kind of thing?
She, from what you can tell, from the memories that you have, bearing in mind that what you see is not necessarily true or current, from what you can tell, Dulia's body is temporarily locked and will not age as long as she is never removed from that throne. Her mind, however, is aging at a normal speed. So she has 800 years of memories, or give or take 800 years of memories, and you're at 865.
Geriatric
So,
pregnancy. Geriatric pregnancy, then.
So you know that her mind is aging at a standard rate, but her body is temporarily locked, essentially. But also, the way she's aging is not the way a normal child would age. So it's a bit of a coin toss.
Who fucking knows kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what you know. That's what you can piece together and remember exactly. But there are details that have escaped you, and are likely to stay escaped until the next time you try this sort of thing. And you don't feel like you want to try it again anytime soon, because it was fucking painful. Speaking of which, roll me 3d6.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Okay.
Okay.
16. Wow, that was almost max damage.
Yeah, you take 32 points of psychic damage.
Oh, Jesus.
Lay on hands. I can lay on hands you. Fuck, where's lay on hands?
I have 20 HP now.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much does lay on hands restore total, I guess?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find where my lay on hands pool is.
Wait, does this matter? Because I just have a long rest, presumably.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but I'm making
we
a
have
point
still
that...
Yeah, so we
Doing-
don't need healing as well more. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, we've done.
At the time, you give me a little zesty heal.
Yeah. But just as a point, yeah, it's not a pleasant situation when 800 years of memories gets poured into your brain. It hurts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm making a point.
Yeah.
Try this again, it could be worse.
It could maybe die.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say die, but there could be consequences. Like, this sort of thing is dangerous. Okay. So, what is everybody doing?
Well, after that whole ordeal, I'm just gonna go back to, like, prepping my facade, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Okay.
gonna be imminently relevant, I hope.
Yes, it is. Okay. I'm gonna say, Ingvar, unless you want to roleplay this, you managed to go out and find a vendor that sells normal arrows.
Ah, that's fine.
Just normal arrows. Tear.
Unless you want to look for something specific and go back to go back to Claire's.
No. Just basic like fire or lightning or.
I got these lightning arrows at Claire's.
I don't want the thunder boom things, Jesus.
I mean, didn't
I'm
you
gonna
pick
blow
up
my
a
other
couple
leg
of
off.
thunder arrows from Claire's?
I picked up the explosive ones, the boom booms.
Ah, yes. Yes, those explosive arrows. The ones that are more dangerous than the thunder arrows.
Uh-huh.
Oh, right, Elfie, you missed Claire on off.
Yeah. Huh?
Claire's is a shop in Velostov.
Uh-huh.
You
I got
might
several
meet them
piercings there.
someday. You might meet them someday. Ah.
I'm so excited.
I mean, if you go looking for them, the rest of the party can probably tell you about them, but...
But also, Prod's put himself under house arrest because he doesn't want to cause more trouble.
Yeah, too bad. Claire has a nuke. Too bad, you're under house arrest. Can't do
Yeah.
it. You brought this on yourself. Okay, so... Darren.
Uh-huh.
You spend the first week reading up everything you can about Dwarvish law. Because these sorts of things are important. And then you go looking for the local tribunal offices. First stop is the lawyers' board, the Velostov lawyers' board, the bar, if you will. You enter into a marble-paneled room where there stands a large carved granite desk with quartz inlay. Behind it sits an elderly dwarf of maybe around 400 years of age, long silver beard that has been artfully combed and designed to fit within links of silver chain. Now, obviously you're not going as yourself. What form are you taking?
I'm gonna try and be consistent here, and I'm going as the bronze dragonborn, or the copper dragonborn at least.
All right. So you walk into the tribunal offices. This elderly dwarf pulls his pince-nez off his nose, looks down at you, and goes, "The help comes in the back way." One eyebrow raised.
You are going to furrow. Not the help, but could certainly use some.
The dwarf's eyebrow raises further.
Okay, what specifically am I asking for here?
You are asking to take the lawyer's exam, basically, or convince them that you have enough of a knowledge of Dwarvish law to be qualified as a lawyer without taking the exam.
Okay. I have a client currently who is approaching their trial date. However, I'm unaccustomed to giving. I need the documentation, as it were, to properly present them. Is it possible for you to speed that along at all?
You are a lawyer? You?
Yeah.
Dress like that?
I'm
He
sorry the
gestures
regal
to
finery
your-
hasn't quite made it to your courts. But I can assure you, yes, I'm quite capable of presenting my client.
We'll see about that. He sort of tugs down on his black robes, steps out from behind, steps down the 4 small stairs from behind the granite sort of desk that is at the front, and he comes around the front, and he's about the same height as the desk. And he looks you up and down and goes...
Mostly up at that altitude.
Mostly up, yes. He looks you up and goes, well, if you are indeed a lawyer, which I will be quite honest, I doubt, you will be required to take the Velostov Law exam, which the next date of examination would be in 6 months, which I doubt.
Then we're going to have to find an alternative arrangement. Is it possible simply to get accredited for this one specific trial? I can deal with the full accreditation later.
A temporary law license for Velostov.
In effect.
For a single trial.
In effect.
Very well. What? A quick fire examination for you, if you will.
Boy.
Well, if you want to practice law in Velostov, even on a temporary basis, we have to know that you're capable.
What am I rolling for this?
Oh, you're gonna find out.
Please tell me it's persuasion.
You're gonna find out, aren't you?
I can tell that you are deliberately avoiding giving me a persuasion roll.
Here is, and he produces from his coat a small stack of documents, along with a sigil that you recognize as a lawbearer's mark. He shows you the files and he says, "Here is one of my former clients. This young man was found publicly defacing a national monument. What would your defense of his actions be? And how would you stop him or stop others from following in his paths while still providing him a substantial reduction in his prison sentence?" And he hands you the case notes.
Okay, I looked them over
Case
and then
notes
oh boy.
dictate a young dwarf who publicly defecated on the head of the statue of the steward of Velostov. And then proceeded to drunkenly sing at the top of his lungs about how he'd like to fuck the steward's wife. The date of this case is noted as being 3 days ago. This client is not former, it is current.
I see. He's looking for tips.
He's looking for tips.
Uh-huh.
Roll me a persuasion check. Let's see how this goes.
Yep. $29.
29.
Oh my god.
Make your case. And depending on how good your case is, I will reduce the DC.
Well, let's see. We can clearly see the client was in a state of severe inebriation. That much is quite apparent. I think everyone present would attest to as much. It is therefore conceivable that they were not in their full compos mentis, and were therefore subject to potentially an insanity plea of temporariness, which would indicate that this action was more simply disturbing the peace than it was of any particular personal grudge. Likely they would have defecated in whatever object was present at the time, and it happened to be that particular statue. I'm sure to a drunk that may have seemed more of a challenge than anything else. Any particularly bland pillar would likely have served much the same function, and received much the same treatment.
Profess that the inebriation is the cause of this young man's difficulties with authority. And as
I would suggest the authority was an irrelevant matter in his mind at the time. And truly, what person within Dwarven society has not had an interesting evening at one point or another due to alcohol?
Yes, that is most...
We needn't disrupt this young dwarf's life entirely for one mistake. Of simply not counting his drinks properly.
A reduced sentence, perhaps an argument could be made that his choices mean that he must give up drinking for a time, and that would reduce his sentence in accordance.
Perhaps some form of intermediary community service of some description could also be of aid to grease the wheels of justice, as it were.
Yes. Very well. I am impressed, my friend. I'm impressed. And he pulls open a desk drawer, takes out a small copper badge, which is inscribed with a different kind of lawbearer's mark, and hands it to you and says, "This is a visiting lawbearer's mark for the city of Velostov. Until you are fully accredited, this will be what you will operate under. Come back in 6 months-ish, and we shall have you take the full examination, so that you may be accredited as a full lawbearer of the city of Velostov."
Understood. Thank you very much for your assistance today.
Have a good day, and... what case are you actually working, if you don't mind?
The half-orc that was arrested recently, unfortunately.
Ah! Well, I don't envy you for that one. And he turns and he walks out of the room. Okay. So you have convinced them to give you a provisional lawbearer's mark. Which is, it's not necessarily hard to get one of those, but defending your clients is the difficult part, realistically speaking.
Well, I'm sure I can persuade a courtroom.
Okay.
Defending your clients. Are we talking about literal defense, though?
No, you'll be the one doing that, Barb.
But this is Dwarven law.
It is Dwarven law.
And he did question the way you were dressed. And I have the feeling that it's you're gonna be doing some violence.
I have to imagine if they meant that I would have to physically defend your person in court, that is a thing I would have identified while I was poring over the notes.
Oh, you did. There are cases where the lawbearer has in fact had to fight other lawbearers to defend his client. It's not done as much as often these days. It's a very old tradition that was stopped a few years ago due to the fact that there weren't really enough lawbearers around anymore. I'm
just remembering that Justice League episode where Green Lantern's on trial and they're like, "That's how we solved our lawyer problem."
Yeah.
If your client gets convicted with a death sentence, the lawyer goes too.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of that situation in that like a lot of law bearers ended up in like hospital for extended periods of time due to this, and as such there weren't enough lawyers to defend people. So they stopped that part of the tradition. But the clients still get to fight because there's only one of them. So, yeah. So yeah, you're not at risk. Prod is.
Good.
Yay!
Though there is one small thing.
Oh.
A provisional lawbearer is not necessarily subject to the same regulations that a fully accredited lawbearer is. I'll leave you with that. Moving on. You still need to find Prod's documentation, and you need to convince the judge to let you be Prod's lawyer.
Right. Well, let's get the documentation, I guess, and then I'll carry on to the judge.
Okay.
That will probably be a useful thing to have in front of it.
Mm-hmm. So you spend a good hour searching through the archives before you find the file marked Prodigious Maximus. The record is sparse. There isn't much in there, realistically speaking. It states attempted assault on a Velostov official, drunken brawling, and it also states something about something that is you're not entirely certain is fabricated, but it states unpaid bar tabs.
Interesting.
You get the feeling that that last one is someone else pushing their own bar tabs on someone else's name.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It does happen.
I'm not even entirely certain Prod can write.
But yeah,
Prod can't read, so I doubt he can write.
So yeah.
I mean, just because you don't know what the squiggle says doesn't mean you can't make the squiggle, but...
But yeah, so you managed to find the file. It's not difficult, it's just time consuming because the records in the tribunal offices are extensive, to say the least. The tribunal offices' vaults are like several miles long. And there's a lot of bookcases. But you do manage to find it eventually. Lastly, the judge. As you move through the tribunal offices, seeking the appointed judge, you do eventually find him, or her, or them. They stand behind a desk, standing very specifically, you note, quite tall for a dwarf. With a long black beard, golden rings and chains strung throughout it, wearing the robes of a judge, along with a heavy chainmail skirt. You also note that they're wearing plate armor boots and plate armor gauntlets and like pauldrons. And around their neck hangs the symbol, a religious symbol, as a matter of fact, of one of the gods that the dwarves worship. Because they don't usually worship the traditional dwarves. You, as a dwarf, wouldn't need to roll for this. You know this particular deity is Mishek, The deity of knowledge and secrets is the symbol that they hold around their neck. As you enter their office, they're sorting through piles and piles of paperwork. They look up at you and go, I don't have time for this today. Just whatever you've come to bring me, leave it over there.
Sorry, my brain is just zoned out on where exactly it is I am.
You're in the office of the judge.
Right,
Yes.
okay. Your Honor, I am here to make my case as a lawyer for a particular client. I believe you are most likely aware of them.
Oh, go on. State your case. I'm sorry. Who are you?
I'm the lawyer for Prodigious Maximus. They're an out-of-towner who was caught in some upset recently.
Gods. Alright, look. I've had enough of a issue finding a lawyer for that case. If you want it, you can take it. But don't say I didn't warn you.
Oh, it certainly will not be without duress, but nonetheless, I am duty-bound to represent him.
Duty-bound? My god. Really? What are you, some kind of honorable lawyer?
You've been known to exist.
Really? Oh, gods. I need a drink. Look, if you want the case, you can take it. The trial date is set for a week from now. I'll be honest. There's a 90% chance that he'll get convicted.
I'm certain the odds are not in his favor. But that's where
He
I come.
assaulted the vice steward of Velostov. You think he's gonna get off scot-free for that?
Alleged.
My god.
But I'm sure we can see how things shake out.
Allegedly. Allegedly. My god. Well, fine. Yes, you can have the case. I've been having enough trouble finding someone to take that particular one. Everyone was up for, leaving him out to hang, as it were. Well, not hang. You know how it works around here. That axe is getting very bloody these days.
Well, I'm certain we can meet somewhere in the middle. Perhaps trial by combat would be more apt.
As the judge is taking a drink, he does a spit take. You watch some form of spirit fly across the room. Trial by combat? We haven't had a trial by combat in decades.
Yes, imagine the spectacle.
You would need to get the steward's representative to agree to it, and you would need to get the steward of a trial by combat between a complete stranger and the vice steward of Velostov. Are you mad?
Most likely it would end up being the steward's second. Yes, I agree with that much.
No.
But consider...
Ada Morin doesn't take seconds.
Don't I know it? But consider... This out-of-towner is accused of attempting to assault the steward, is by all rights a ne'er-do-well. Imagine how much the public would enjoy seeing them taken down several pegs in the combat by the very person they attempted to attack.
The judge strokes his beard thoughtfully. Roll me a persuasion check.
27.
27. Judge strokes his beard. Thinks. Well, you're not wrong. It would certainly be a spectacle. Tell you what. I'll put in a word with the opposing council. See if they'll agree to it. I can't promise anything. They might just ask for relitigation, and that'll take months, trust me. However... Yes. Yes, I'll speak to the opposing council and we'll see what we can swing. I'll let you know. Do you have an address that you seem to be new to Velostov? Do you have an address that I can convey any messages to?
I'll give him the tavern where we're staying.
You give him the inn where you're staying. Fair enough.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Very well. He puts it down on the table. You know, when you said you wanted this case, I thought it's just going to end in tears, but this might actually turn out to be very, very interesting. Now, please, I have work to do, and you're very distracting. Scales are incredibly shiny. Please, out.
I'm gonna raise a slight smile at that statement and be on my way.
Okay. You have convinced the judge.
Mm-hmm.
You've found the paperwork. You gained a provisional lawbearer's mark. Are we all ready to proceed the week?
Yeah, I think we are.
I think so.
Okay. So, after 2 weeks in Velostov, where I will say your funds have decreased slightly, Ingvar, about 10 silver for those arrows. I'll say you got about 40. And the rest of everybody else, or everyone in general, you're all down by about 4 gold for your stay in the inn for the 2 weeks that you were here. After 2 weeks, after the librarian has collated more and more notes about their life, and I will say, at the end of that last week, librarian, you're starting to feel that fog roll back in. It's not as strong as it was before, but every time you try to reach for much older memories, they just seem to slip through your fingers at this point. But you know they're there, and you can remember some of them still. And you know enough from your notes to keep track of what's going missing as well. You all... Well... The librarian and Ingvar file into the courtroom. The tribunal courtroom of Velostov is opulent to the nth degree. There are marble columns. There are massive stands all around the outside. There's essentially every surface is polished and shines. And it's all made of various different types of stone. Eventually, you get called in, Darren, and you, Prod, to be seated at the front of this large, this large semicircle. On one side is you, Darren, in your dragonborn form. On the other side is, you notice, the opposing council is a elderly dwarf scribe, very short, little half-moon spectacles, high-pitched intonation, and standing next to him, a good, foot and a half taller, is Ader Moran, in the black and gold robes of the Vice Steward of Velostov. Standing next to you is Prod, in the full black armor regalia that they like to wear, with the twin longswords across their back. And
it's
standing...
just the one longsword. I just use it in one hand or two.
Oh, you have 2 longswords, don't you?
No, I have one longsword, but I switch hands.
Yeah, they can be used single-handed or two-handed.
Well, no. You had... What I mean is, I gave you a necrotic longsword at one point, but you had a longsword before that as well.
Yes, I threw it at a guy, and then I didn't pick it up.
Oh, yeah! That's what happened to that. Okay.
I'm telling the truth. I'm being a good egg.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. At the head, the judge, in his, we don't know, they're dwarves. With their long black beard and golden medallion of Mishek. Stand, he states, and the assembly rises. Representing the offensive council, Garan Tatil Tatok Ekte Taven.
Sorry, what?
What?
That... You wrote that name down so you could reuse it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Representing the Vice Steward of Velostov, Ader Moran. Representing the Defensive Council. What name did you give?
Please give your real one. Please give your real one.
If I lie, then we have to use deception in a court of law, and I don't get nearly so good at rolls on that. So...
Give me a name.
Yeah.
Give me a name.
So I have to give the actual one, and then just maybe later persuade somebody that it's a fairly common name.
Give me a name. You
Darren
gotta choose. Okay. Darren Moran. Representing Prince Prodigious Maximus of the... And he looks at his paper and goes, Southern Orcish Court? Alright. Slaps the papers down. Ader's eyes have immediately shifted over to you, Darren. In your Dragonborn form, I would like you to roll me a...
Lovely.
Excuse me.
I don't think I have that on my stat sheet, though.
I would like you to roll me a wisdom saving throw to keep calm in this situation.
Oh, goody. Heck! Okay, that's 12.
12.
I only saw one of those ones when it was rolling.
Can I be...
Um,
can I help? I can hold your hand.
Not in this situation.
I can always hold your hand.
Well, it won't help, but...
I can do it anyway.
And you're also in shackles.
No, they have a monitor, but they're not in shackles. You feel a slight bead of sweat run down your forehead, unbetrayed by the Dragonborn form. But it's a little uncomfortable, especially considering they're like 25 feet away from you right now.
Oh yeah.
The judge looks over your... The proceedings may begin. Be seated. And as one, the entire courtroom sits down.
Big loud thud.
On the offense, first, you hear the judge.
Oh, we don't get to roll initiative?
No, this is a court of law, not a court of, well, you might,
Not yet.
Prod might get to roll
Not yet.
initiative later. I'm gonna shorten this to Garan, because saying that name every single time is gonna get a little. Actually, no. Garan Tatil Tatotek Tetavan stands
Golly god.
and looks around and says, "The defense wishes us to believe that this prince is harmless. But," doing the wrong voice for this, "but he was seen to assault the Vice Steward of Velostov in public during a council meeting. He was seen to be drunk and disorderly by the guards of Velostov. I press the charge of life imprisonment for attempted sedition and traitorism." You hear back in the crowd several people yelling, a couple of people cheering. Garan Tatil Tatok Ektetavan continues. "There is no greater crime in our society than the attempted assault or assassination, dare I say it, of one of our highest political positions. I do not believe we should show any leniency at all. The offense rests." And he takes his seat. The judge turns to you, Darren Moran.
Huh?
Defense, present your case.
Just gonna stand up, straighten my coat and whatnot.
What are you wearing today? Out of curiosity.
I mean, it's my standard Copper Dragonborn form, wearing basically British Magister robes and hat. Like,
Okay.
So, just to give you a lovely mental image there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little Pond's knee if I could fit it on the snout.
It sort of fits. Sort of fits.
It's all illusory. It can be made to fit.
Yeah.
Alright. The defense and I, it may surprise to know, agree on a great many facts of this case. True, this out-of-towner, fresh from the bar, as his receipts would seem to suggest, managed to find his way into the innermost sanctum of your halls of office and potentially strike the steward. We differ, however, in the notions of restraint. The defense would have you be comfortable, satisfied, perhaps even, with simply a piece of paper, writing, and a sentence. I would suggest that this act of wanton terrorism should be responded to with due force. The offense therefore moves for trial by combat.
You hear gasps throughout the crowd behind you. The Ader sort of immediately whips his head down to Gran and they suddenly start talking. The judge sort of raises a hand in to shush the crowd as like whispers are starting to go out throughout. People are starting to. You start hearing Dwarvish warhammers thump on the ground in time, in beat, as people are suddenly getting excited at the notion that this may turn into a bloodbath. The judge puts out a hand and the room quiets. He looks around. Garanta tilta toktet tet haven. Your defense has requested trial by combat. Whether to prove innocence or guilt. To the first blood and to the last. How does the offense respond? Ader's eyes are flashing. You notice a sort of restless, lean, shifting. Garan looks up at Ader, nods, and then responds. Your Honor, we accept this challenge. Should the victor of this match leave the chamber alive, he will be considered clear of all charges. However, if one of these combatants were to yield during combat, the victor reserves the right to on-site execution with no attempted resurrection. Are these terms acceptable? He looks over at you, Darren.
Okay. I'm just going to turn to face Prods and then do, like, whispering of, okay, so I'm just turning in this direction so that it looks like I'm actually giving you some say on this, but actually we're 100% in on the trial by combat, so it doesn't really matter what you say. Just look concerned and aghast at what I'm saying.
Oh, whoa! Really?
Yes.
Concern!
Perfect.
He's like
yes.
pulling like some beautiful facial expressions.
Look as though you're heavily betrayed and I'm basically just tossing away your life. That's perfect for this.
Oh, I'm good at that. I use my acting to do so.
You look terrified.
Got it. Is that good? Is that good? Are you proud of me?
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, I will turn back to address the courts. The defense finds these terms agreeable.
Across the room, you hear Dwarvish battle axes and warhammers pounding against the ground. Boom, 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 boom. Suddenly, the middle of the chamber, this large, round section lowers into the floor, slides open to reveal this large sand pit. You see small bits of broken bone down there as well. The occasional tooth that seems to have been lost in the sand. The judge stands. The rules of trial by combat are known. No magic items. Only the items forged by dwarven hands. Choose your weapons.
Oh, that's Prod going down naked.
Prod
Choose
does.
Darren.
Okay, so Prod can take off the armor. He'll just wake up with it again.
Yeah.
Does the rules of the armor still apply when he's taken them off?
Okay, so the
'Cause-
AC and abilities of the armor do not.
Yeah, I figured that.
The
But the other
rest
thing.
of it does.
Okay, I will let you know when I drop beneath 25, I believe.
Mhm.
Cool. Prod hops down.
Okay, so as a note, the weapons are on the platform above, and there is like
Okay.
a staircase that leads down into this. But a couple of dwarves wheel out these large weapon racks that contain a variety of different weaponry.
Ooh.
You may okay, so real quick, let's see. Is it here? Give me. Nope, I've lost it. Hold on.
Ooh. This is a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Can I choose Darren as my weapon?
Oh no.
Excuse you?
They were made by dwarven hands.
Okay, hold on.
I'm a dragonborn currently. That's not going to fly.
Present your argument.
Please don't.
Well... Look, I don't... okay, Prod says this while taking off his armor, talking to Darren. He goes, could you technically be my weapon? Because you were made by dwarven hands, right? And I have a feeling Ada really don't want to fight you. Unless Ada does want to fight you. I still am not clear on that. Can you just quickly fill me in on whatever the fuck is going on before I go into my death pit?
No.
Why not?
We really do not have time for me to explain the beef, as it were. I'm not dropping the tea right now.
Okay, so it is beef. Is it... Okay, like, I know you don't want to spill the tea, currently, okay? And I love you for that. And that's great, and that's fine. But... Are they interested in seeing you alive or dead, is mostly my question here.
I genuinely couldn't tell you. But more to the point, in order for you to verify that I have been quote-unquote made by dwarven hands, you would need to demonstrate that I am a dwarf. Which, I don't know if you've noticed, kinda scaly at the moment.
Oh yeah. I mean... Yeah, okay. So... I'll go for a sword then. Probably a two-handed sword.
As a note, this is what you have access to. You can get a club, dagger, great club, hand axe, javelin, light hammer, mace, quarterstaff, sickle, spear. There are no ranged weapons in this combat. You can also get, alternatively, a battle axe, a flail, a glaive, a great axe, a great sword, a halberd, a lance, a longsword, a maul, a morning star, a pike, a rapier, a scimitar, a short sword, a trident, a war pick, a war hammer, or... Oh yeah, no, that's it.
Chair?
Oh, yes, no, there is also a Swiss Army chair on the rack.
A Swiss Army chair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's,
that's
it's
in the
long
lore now.
story. It's canon.
A Swiss Army folding chair.
There was a carpenter statue. Remember when we went into the Dwarven fortress bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were the inventor of the Swiss Army chair.
Swiss Army
Or
folding
something
chair.
like that.
Do we have
which-
the stats for a Swiss Army chair?
Yes, technically.
How vicious did the statue make it look?
More importantly, doesn't calling it a Swiss Army chair mean Switzerland exists?
The highborn army chair.
It doesn't mean Switzerland exists. It means Switzerland exists.
Legally distinct Switzerland.
Legally distinct Switzerland. It's Swiss, technically.
We just make every single, like, real lifeism just highborn or lowborn. For the shits and giggles.
No.
Oh.
We can do that with English, okay?
Okay.
And we can make American lowborn. I feel like I just
Like Western.
insulted, like,
Yeah, I feel like
50%
you
of my
lost.
audience.
Yeah, goodbye.
You bye. Okay. Can you tell me what the difference between the great sword and the long sword is? Is it the range that's different?
So, a great sword does 2d6 slashing, and it's heavy and two-handed. A long sword is 1d8 slashing, and is versatile, which means you can carry a shield with it if you like.
Is there a shield available?
There is a shield available. There are 2 shields available, actually.
Actually, I won't bother with the shield. I have... Ooh, wait, hang on. What's my AC without my armor? Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that is the question that you want to ask. There is armor available as well. There's a small,
Does it fit
like,
me?
chest of armor that has, like, dwarven chainmail in it.
Am I able to wear that?
It is just, like, chainmail armor. So, it's medium armor that gives you a 13 plus your dex modifier.
Okay. Hang on, let me have a look. So I'd have a 14. Okay. Now let me just... Right, my AC is 20 with my armor. I have no idea what my AC is without my armor. How do I calculate that?
Generally speaking, it's 10 plus dexterity if you have no armor.
Well, yes, 10 plus dex if you have no armor is the base. And your armor adds, like... It's like 16 plus something, or 19 plus something, so... I could check.
I think in 5e it's like the armor has a value that replaces the 10.
Yes, it is. So it would be 10 plus your dexterity, which means your base AC would be 11.
I feel like it was 16 before I got this armor.
That would be due to the...
And I think I've got a ring or something that gives me +1, because I remember I was at 19 and then I did
And then
something
you-
and it went up
yes.
to 20.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
you
the
have an
+1
amulet
to
for
AC
that.
for an amulet.
But you can't use that.
Because it's magic.
It's a magic
no
item.
magic is allowed in this trial by combat.
No.
So no magic items at all.
What if they got a little magic as a treat?
Nope, not allowed. I mean, technically, they are getting a little bit of magic as a treat. It's just not the kind they want. Or maybe they do want it, who knows?
Okay, well, I'll take the dwarven armor, which will make me a 14.
Yes.
So, hang on, let me set my DC to... Well, okay, I'll just remember that my AC is 14, because I don't want to forget that my AC was originally 20.
Yep.
Uh,
AC 14. There we go.
Yeah. AC 14.
Do you want a shield with that?
If I used a shield in one hand...
You can either take a shield and, like, a one-handed weapon, or you can take a long sword, or you can take a two-handed weapon.
I'm gonna take a two-handed weapon.
Okay, so no shield. Got it.
No shield, two-handed weapon.
So which two-handed weapon are you taking?
The great sword.
Great.
I believe that
Okay.
has a reach of 10 feet.
Yes. Yes,
It does. Good. Cool.
Yeah, it has a longer reach.
Has a long-ass reach.
No,
No?
sorry. No, the lance has a reach of 10 feet. The greatsword does not. The greatsword does more damage. It does 2d6 slashing, but it does not have a long reach.
Fine, then I'll still take the greatsword.
Okay. Alright, so you have currently a greatsword that does 2d6 slashing. It is a mundane weapon. No additional hit modifier or anything like that.
Would I quickly turn to Darren? Would it be allowed if I infused the blade with which made it magical whilst I was fighting, or would that not be allowed?
Would that
The
be
holy
against the
symbols
rules?
count as magical.
Holy symbols do not.
divine magic,
They count as
no?
divine.
Oh, so it's specifically arcane magic that they're against.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes and no. Divinity is a complicated subject at the best of times. The way dwarves see it is... Divinity is mostly fine, as long as there's no active magic. Like, you can use divinity in this combat. You just can't use, like, anything that is a straight-up magic item, basically.
Okay. And I'd be able to do something like Divine Smite. Sick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So, I quickly turn to anyone and be like, has anyone got bless before I go down?
You do.
Can I bless myself?
Yeah.
Do I have bless?
Yes.
Yeah,
You sneeze, you just have to say bless me.
Oh.
Yeah, you can
I
just
sneeze
bless
and
yourself.
bless myself.
Okay. Alright. So, with that, so you have selected your armor, you have selected your weapon. You watch across the way as Ader Moran steps forward. As you're all doing, when you finish selecting your weapon, the judge says, "Combatants, select your second." Ader points to Garan as their second. Who do you point to?
I point to... Have we discussed that Darren might be a second, or Ingvar? I'm obviously not going to put...
What did
Anyone
you guys
else?
discuss earlier? Is the
What did we
question.
discuss earlier, guys?
I did we discuss that a little bit.
This
Pick
is
a
pretty
card,
much...
any card.
I point at Darren!
Oh,
You pointed Darren. Okay.
fine.
Okay. So, you watch across the way as Ader divests of the various bits and pieces that they were carrying, revealing underneath a full set of plate armor that they are wearing. It is heavy armor. It gives them a 16 on their armor class. I will let you know that up front. Okay. Okay. They also pick up what looks to be a war pick, which they flip over in their hands, and then they pick up a second one. So they are currently wielding 2 war picks.
Sick.
They sheathe them into their belt and look over at you, Prod. And you see a slight grin curve up the side of their mouth. And they nod at you once. And then they jump down into the pit, landing, like, knees bent. There's a soft thump as they land. You notice that, like, the heavy armor that they're wearing barely rustles at all.
Rod, because he's like, no one's gonna show me off, does a backflip into the pit.
Alright.
Acrobatics?
God, I don't ask for much, but please let Prod fail this athletics
Roll me an
roll.
acrobatics check.
Prod's got a +8 on acrobatics. I'm just saying that.
That's why I needed to talk to God.
Not acrobatics, athletics, sorry. Backflips athletics.
Okay.
Come on, please. That's an 18.
Well, you heard it here first,
Mediocre.
folks. God doesn't exist.
Okay. So, you do a backflip into the pit. You land, your great sword scrapes across the floor, one hand out across, the other lifting it by one hand at the moment, though it is starting to feel a little heavy already. You're not used to the weight of this thing. The chainmail fitting a little bit tightly. It is made for dwarves after all. Your midriff, like your stomach area, is just bare due to the length of the chainmail, but you like it that way.
I flex my abs.
You flex your abs. You
flex
show
my abs.
off.
I like hit those like bodybuilder poses that everybody like, you know, and I blow like kisses to the crowd.
Yes, indeed.
I probably get booed, right? But that's okay. I'm into it.
No, you see it. You hear a few wolf whistles.
Yes.
But everyone's gathering.
The werewolves
around the
like you at least.
Everyone's gathering around the edge of the pit now to view, and you notice that Ada hasn't said a word yet. Hasn't said a word at all. As you're looking at them, you realize that the reason they haven't said a word, they lift their chin up at you, in sort of a dismissive sort of gesture. You notice that across the front of their throat, 3 massive scars are. Ada hasn't said a word because they have no vocal cords.
Oh.
And then they sort of gesture at you with one hand really quickly. And you realize that they've been talking most of the day with Gran by gesturing. They haven't actually moved their lips. They're mute. They have no vocal cords, so they've been using sign language to communicate all day. So they gesture to you very quickly, and then make what looks like a very rude gesture, and then pull out the war pigs. And ready themselves. The judge above sort of you watch as like this massive gong is rolled out from another hallway, and the judge picks up this big mallet and goes, "Trial by combat, an ancient rite going back to the darkest days of Dwarvish culture. Honor your ancestors, and may the blood flow strong." And combat begins. Roll me initiative, Elfie.
do that. Oh, initiative. Okay. Getting used to this new system. 8.
8. Okay.
Well, better a 7 plus 1 than a 1 plus 7, I guess.
Alright then. So. This needs to be that. Oof. Lucky! Ada rolls a 3 plus a 3. You go first. You go first.
First, Prod's gonna say, alright, Ada. I found Darren, by the way. They're over there. And I point up to, well, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
And then Prod is going to... How far am I away from Ada?
I am going to outline that for you very quickly right now, actually. So... let's go with this one.
Oh, where are we going? Oh, Oh, hello. Beautiful.
Come here.
Take me away.
Okay, so you are essentially like. Sorry, I know I'm making this very quickly. I've been.
Don't worry about it, my love.
I've been working my butt off trying to get the character sheets done. So. Okay. So, this is about the size of the arena that you are currently in.
Fantastic. Oh, that was so cool. That was very satisfying to watch.
Let me just move this along a little bit so that you can see where everything is. There we go. Okay.
It's all center.
Oh, shut up. Okay, so you are about here. Ada is about here.
Okay. Bell list. Right. For my first bonus action, I am going to touch my non-magical weapon, and it's going to become a magical weapon.
Okay.
So the bonus of it, so it is infused with +1. Hang on. So +1 to attack and damage rolls. And that'll last for an hour. So I assume that'll stay.
Yeah, that'll last for combat, whole combat.
So my greatsword's now magical. Let me do a little measure. How far? Oh, there we go. There we go. Alright, so he's just a bit out of my radius currently, so I can't actually do much to him via that. Right. Right. Oh! I don't know what to do.
Smack.
Well, I can't get over to him. That's my problem. And okay, hang on, I'm just doing some maths here. He's probably got a lower running speed than me, right? Because he's a dwarf.
Maybe.
So he can't make his way to me, and I can't make my way to him. So if I stay this distance and prepare myself, that'll do better for me than anything else. So with this moment, I'm going to bless myself and do the magic weapon. So I am now blessed and I have magic weapon.
Okay. Is that your turn?
And also, yelling and pointing.
Yeah. Okay.
That will be my turn.
All right.
I mean, maybe I move hop to each side, looking like I'm prepping and ready.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that.
Hopping side to side on my feet.
All right. So you hop side to side. You taunt a little bit. Ada pauses, noticing that you're not really getting close. Tucks one of the picks away, pulls out a dagger, and throws it at you.
Fucking rude.
And that'll be 26 to hit.
Well, come on! You just took away all my things. Yes, that'll hit.
It's fine. It didn't do much damage, but you're taunting Ada, and they're like
taunting Ada.
Okay.
I was telling him nice things.
And they immediately throw this long stiletto dagger. It's not anything fancy, but they must have picked it up from the various weapons up there.
Bitch.
So yeah, they do 1d4 of they do 4 points of piercing damage to you.
4 points of piercing damage. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do I have to just rewrite my health every time I have to do that?
There's a little damage.
There's a
field.
box that says heal and damage.
You can put 4 and then
4 and then damage. Yeah. Oh, that's sexy.
And 4 and heal. So yeah. There's a little
cool.
heal or damage button that you can use.
Okay.
Much like Adventurous Codex, weirdly enough.
Cool. Right. So,
And as a point, Ada is going to start moving around this way.
Okay. I'm going to pick up the dagger that was thrown at me, or take it out of me.
Yeah, you wrench it out of your arm.
And I'm going to throw it gently up to Darren.
Okay.
I am passing it with my throwing. Basically,
okay.
If I leave it in the ring, this man's going to use it again.
It's not Chekhov's dagger. He's already used it.
Yes, but if I leave it, he's going to pick it up and use it again.
Are you going to steadily disarm him over the course of this fight?
Yes! It's an incredibly intelligent thing to do!
Alright.
I gently pass it up to Darren.
Who is behind you and 10 feet up. So you lob it onto the edge, basically.
Yeah, I lob it onto the edge.
Okay. I'll say that's a bonus action.
Okay.
You're removing a weapon from play, basically.
I'm removing a weapon from play. How far am I now from you? Do I think I could do a little run-up, is the question. Not quite. Right. I am going to move this way. A little bit this way. Right. Right there. And I'm going to I'm not going to be mean because I'm a knight and I would never be mean because knights aren't mean.
Well.
Well, yeah, all right. Okay. Let me just quickly see how. I'm going to also, on top of my bless and my magical weapon, I'm going to give myself divine favor, which gives me an extra 1d4 damage on a hit.
Okay.
So I've got bless, divine favor. Hang on, I'm writing this down. And
you can add the condition bless to yourself on your character sheet.
Can I?
Under conditions at the top.
Oh, oh, okay. I see it. Bless. Hell yeah. Do I press condition? Yes, cool.
You have to
Bless.
press condition,
Nice. That's really useful.
Yeah, it is.
But yes, I also have divine favor and magic weapon. I think I'm just gonna be using my spells currently, just to try and give me as much help as humanly possible. Okay. I will also, as an action, I will, even though it's the casting time is a bonus action, but wait, hang on, I already did divine favor. What did I just do? Yeah, okay, so I did divine favor, and I threw up the knife as a bonus action. Never mind, we're good. That's it. I just moved slightly to the side.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
That's all I do. Just waiting. They need to make the first move.
Alright. Fair enough.
Make them the violent one, not me.
I believe you. Okay. So you are circling around each other, basically. Preparing for whoever's going to make that first move. Ader decides to take matters into their own hands.
Good.
They are going to let's see, how far is this place? Just within range? Okay. Ada is going to sprint for you. And they're going to pull out their double war picks, and they're going to do essentially a spinning leap towards you and hammer down with both of them at the same time. This skill essentially means that they can use two weapons as one attack.
Rude.
Which is a fun little thing. And they are going to attempt to hit you very hard in the face with a 19 to hit.
19 will indeed hit.
Okay. So, these two really, they're like long war picks, and they have this massive spike at the end. They slam them down both on your shoulder at the same time. You feel this like inch-long piece of metal shove into your flesh, driving straight through the chainmail that you're wearing. They made their weapon choices very specifically, watching you get dressed. 14 points of piercing damage as these war picks drive into your shoulders. Yeah, and then they're going to bonus action disengage and move back by 10 feet approximately.
Okay. As a bonus action, firstly, Prod says, "Oh fuck." Secondly, Prod as a bonus action casts Shield of Faith upon themselves, giving them 2+ AC.
Okay, so your AC is now up to 16.
My AC is now 16, which should hopefully give me a little bit more protection.
Okay.
It wouldn't have done so far.
Then, Prod is gonna go, "You must have done something really fucked up for Darren to not like you this much." And then is going to attack.
Okay.
So, Prod's gonna go, "Whee!" Wee plonk.
Mhm.
And right. I'm a little confused about what I'm rolling currently.
Okay, so under actions, right?
Yes.
You'll need to
Should I-
add this because it's a greatsword. Press the little plus sign at the bottom.
Yep.
Go into action setting
Action setting.
and make sure that you have strength selected as in the top drop-down menu.
Yep.
And then enter damage dice is 2d6.
2d6.
And then press enter and close. Doesn't matter what it says on everything else, that's just flavor text.
Oh, hang on. I'm gonna roll something stupid. There we go, okay. That didn't work. Ignore that. It... I'm confused as to why that's doing... It's not doing right. But that's okay, because I know... Look, it's a +8 when it comes to my attack.
So
I know that.
As long as you've got the strength in there, you can just click on the little to hit button,
Yeah.
and that'll roll it.
Okay, so plus a d4 because that's my bless.
No, the bless goes anyway, because you have the condition blessed. Remember?
Okay, well take off the 4 from the 31 that I rolled.
27.
27.
I
I don't know how.
That 4 is meant to be there because it's the bless condition. Remember?
Oh, so 31.
31 to hit. Yeah, go for it.
31 to hit.
Roll
yeah.
me 2d6.
Does that count as a crit?
Did what do you crit at? Is the question.
I think I crit at 19.
Okay. Did you roll a 19 on the dice?
Can someone check?
Let's see. You rolled an 8. Wait, you rolled a 20, which is
You rolled
11
a
on the
19
d20
plus
plus
8.
8.
Yep.
19 plus
Confirmed.
8 plus 4. So yes, you did roll a 19. So yes, you did crit.
I crit. Writing
Mhm.
that down. And then that would be
2d6.
2d6 plus 1 plus what do I get from bless?
It's the
Bless is
combat
just
version.
to hit, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's for attack as well, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, So
Yeah. And to the attack roll.
okay, so can you share your screen with me real quick, Alfred? Just so that I
Okay.
can see this.
Oh god, share my screen. Yes. Tailspire.
Just share Tailspire, yeah.
Doing it. Hello.
Okay. So head to your action section, please.
Yeah, sure. Actions.
Go down to the Mall of Fire there, action setting button.
Yep.
Okay. You put that in the wrong field. 2d6, enter damage dice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look,
2d6.
I'm an idiot, okay?
There you go. Just roll it. And then we
But it
can
says
add...
2d... Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
had the same d4 that you got on the roll, apparently.
Well, yeah, I rolled the same.
You got a 4 on the thing, so yeah, we'll add an extra
So,
4
that
to
was... Wait, it left the screen too fast.
this.
I need to add more
It was
things.
13. It was 13 plus the 4 that you rolled from the to hit. So that's 17 plus
17, 1.
plus blinding smite, which is in your spell list, which you should be able to roll from there.
I think I was going for divine smite, which is natural to me. Which
Oh,
I
natural. Okay, that I need
yeah,
to
that's
add-
in my features and traits. Divine Smite, which is 1d8 more. Oh wait.
The extra damage is
2d8.
2d8. 2d8 for a first. I was reading that.
Oh, sorry! You're still looking at my screen!
I am still looking at your screen, yes. Divine Smite. The extra damage is 2d8 for a first level spell slot, plus 1d8 for each spell level higher than first, to a maximum of 5d8. Okay, so yeah, you sacrifice a spell slot.
Yeah.
So what level spell slot are you sacrificing into this?
I think I'm going to sacrifice a second level spell slot, so that would be 3d8.
3d8, yes.
So that's a 3d8 plus the 17.
Yeah.
I believe.
Roll me 3d8.
Where'd you get your d8s?
Press space.
Ah!
Click again on the d8. Yep. There you go.
Ooh!
And I'll roll it.
Plus another 17. So.
Okay. And then double all of that.
And then double all of that, yes. So that would be. I'm actually doing maths on my table. Fuck.
17 plus
I get the
17
feeling after this,
times two.
after this, I'm never practicing lore in this town ever again, am I?
Too much maths.
That's 68. That's 68.
Oh, so close.
68 points of damage.
And that's my first hit. I have 2 hits because I've got extra attack.
68 points of damage. Holy shit.
On
Wow.
my first attack.
There's a reason we went with this plan.
And
yeah,
on
so...
my second attack, I will be doing the exact same thing again.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in a second. You give, as you approach Ader, you give a little grin, you're dragging this massive greatsword behind you, and then lightning fast, you swing it straight across up their torso, up their face. You leave a branding golden light that's sort of glowing with this purple vapor as your god itself brands itself into Ader's flesh. Ader goes flying backwards as the brand explodes across them, this divine light spreading through them. They end up sort of kneeling on the ground, coughing as this purple vapor seeps out of them. They stare up at you wide-eyed. They have misjudged the situation badly. Carry on.
I think I'm going to do the exact same thing again.
Okay.
So let me quickly go to actions and just do a little roll here. Whee! Oh,
Ooh, bye-bye.
is that dice
it'll
ever
hit
gonna...
the ground eventually.
Okay. That's an 18 to hit.
Okay.
And then
That'll hit.
I shall be doing... I don't know how to clear up my dice, so I'm very sorry. They're quite... Oh, fuck. They're quite messy.
You just right-click on them.
Okay. So that's 10, including my bless. Plus 3d8, so 1, 2, 3d8. Ooh-wee. Which is another 16.
Okay.
So that's
26.
26 more damage.
26 more points of damage. Okay. Here's the question. Are you going for a kill?
God, no.
Okay, so you're going for a knockout, basically.
I'm going for getting them in a place of supplication. So I don't actually want to kill this person.
As a point,
I just want them to yield.
This next attack will take them 9 points below 0.
Oh.
Elfie, you did 68 damage in one hit.
Paladin privilege.
So the question is, do you want to kill them or do you want to knock them out? Because regardless of what happens, they're going to hit 0.
Okay, I want to knock them out.
Okay. So, what's your play?
Okay. What Prod's gonna do, if you'll let me be a bit flamboyant with it and pretend that I'm not using my sword.
Yeah, go for it.
He's going to use the butt of his sword to bonk this man on the head, knocking their helmet off. Then they're going to take the unconscious body, because that just knocked them out in one, pull off the helmet, and grab the dwarf's hair and hold them above them. So this dwarf is dangling by the hair. They're strong enough to do that. They're going to put their sword to the throat of this knocked out dwarf and say, Prodigious Maximus is not one to be fucked with. I asked for counsel and they gave me violence. This is my, what's he gonna say? This is my form of justice. This is my form of justice.
Okay.
And it is not a chivalrous thing to do. So he lays down the Ada and Leon hands them to 0 hit points. So they're still knocked out, but they're completely fine.
Okay. Alright. The crowd goes wild. Ada Morin, who is known in Velostov for being a dangerous person to tangle with, just got laid out in 2 swings by you. There is... everyone around you just starts hollering, starts cheering. There is precedent here, and you have demolished it, essentially. Yeah. So.
I hop back up to Darren and give them a little hug.
Okay. Darren, you've just watched Ada, a sibling of many years, get completely beaten. You see a couple of dwarven medics rushing over. How does this feel?
I got a couple less hits than I expected, but about what I expected.
Okay. But how does
You're
this
not gonna give me a hug back?
I will give you a pat on the back. We are still in a courtroom.
You haven't answered my question yet.
I mean, the Schadenfreude is real. There's a long way to go before I feel vindication, but the Schadenfreude is real.
Okay. The judge raises a hand. The gong is rung. You see in the ring, Ada suddenly shoots up. Garan is standing next to them. Judge looks over at everybody. The trial by combat is complete. The defense wins this case. May we remember the blood our ancestors spilled in this honorable combat. And may we know that at the end of the day, Only those in this ring know the true extent of their own power and the justice that prevails. This court session is concluded. The gong is banged once more, and the judge descends. There are, everywhere around you, there are dwarvish figures coming forward, Prod, to congratulate you on this momentous occasion. Nobody expected you to win. There are a couple of bookies that are quietly trying to make their way out of the room without being seen before someone comes along and tries to make good on that bet they made. It's an odd situation. It's an odd feeling. But you have successfully beaten Ader Morin. A few minutes later, a guard comes up to you with a small device that he passes over the edge of your ankle monitor, basically.
Oh, thank you.
And it pops off your wrist with a satisfying little click.
Oh.
It was interesting. Because of the ankle monitor that was on your wrist, you weren't able to actually remove all of your armor. You still had one glove on. But they permitted it because it was just a single glove.
Yeah.
So yeah. You are all free to leave the city at your leisure.
I go to Darren and I say, I'm getting the vibe that this is none of my business, and I know that it is none of my business, okay? I love you as a friend, and I want to make sure that you're okay. I know that there is some beef, and what I have done has not settled said beef. Should we just chat to Ada at some point? Like, even correspondence. Like a letter. Like, you'll have to write it because I can't write. But, I mean, I think it's important that you figure out whatever's going on. Because they did look so heartbroken when I mentioned your name. Also, they've got, like, no tongue at the moment, and or, like, their vocal cords are slashed. I don't know what that's about, and it's kind of terrifying, honestly.
Huh. The last time you saw Ader, they were fully able to speak, by the way, Darren.
Interesting. How does a mute politician get into power?
So, whatever happened between the time you left and now. But they were in politics before you left.
Yeah.
That's the point.
There's probably going to be a day where I'm going to have to talk to them again. But for right now, I'm just going to enjoy them getting taken down a peg.
Fair enough. And I'm not saying you have to tell me, but it would be cool if you did. And I would listen without judgment.
Maybe. Give me a bit, but maybe.
Okay.
As you're all making your way out of the courthouse, Prod, you feel someone tap your shoulder. A figure, tall, lanky, orcish, as it turns out. As you look in their face, you see long, sort of orcish ears, little tusks. They're lithe, relatively tall, very, very vibrant green skin. They step forward and they say, "Excuse me, you're, the judge said something about Southern royalty. That you?"
Something like that. Why do you ask?
Nothing, it's just, Look, I'm not really supposed to talk about this. He sort of looks around warily for a moment before pulling a little emblem out of his jacket, a small medallion. He says, "If you're ever heading south again, there's still a few of us who support the old ways." And he gives you the medallion. You look at it, and it's essentially, it looks like a pair of crossed sickles with essentially a pair of crossed sickles mounted on a shield. And the shield itself has the emblem of a war pig on it, a warthog, if you will. Essentially, like it has the emblem of a of royal house, or the former royal house of the Southern Kingdoms. And you look up.
That's horrific. Sorry, so everyone just sent the most horrific pig emoji to the chat.
You look up to speak to this figure, and they're gone.
Oh. I go to. Sorry, everyone keeps sending funny things.
Carry on.
I go up to the librarian, and say, I know you know things. I don't know things. Do you recognize this at all? And I show him the emblem.
Do I roll history?
Yep, you roll history.
Okay. 9. Unfortunate.
9. It's familiar in a way that you've probably seen it in a book of royal crests, but you couldn't really tell more than that.
It's like a royal crest to me.
Right. I feel like I'm gonna have to do some research of that at some point.
Does my magic vision see anything?
Ah.
Ooh.
I guess we'll have to find out next time.
Da-da-dum.
That's where we're going to end it for the evening. Thank you all very much for joining us for today's intriguing session. We've had some strange things happen today. Yeah. Thank you for my players for helping me test out our new character sheets. Thank you to everybody who came and joined us for this evening's stream. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. Have a very good evening and a very good night. And we shall see you all next time In fact, I shall be around tomorrow for something. I'm not entirely certain what yet. I might do some space engineers for a change. Have a very good evening, everyone, and a very good night. We shall see you all next time. Ta-ta for now.
Bye! Bye!
We're gonna raid an Olaf. Why not?
Goodbye.
Bye!
Bye, everybody.
Bye!
I hope you had fun. I did.
Going to... just imagine I'm giving you all kisses as you leave the door.
And we're off.